Welcome to the Family Office, planning for the people who matter most.
Now, did you see, you have, you know who David Sinclair is, right? You know him? He's like a longevity doctor. He works at Harvard. He's on the Harvard, or he's like the chief of like biology or something at Harvard. So he just recently came out and said this, corroborated this information. I thought this would be interesting to tell you that, because it just kind of keeps, it's like, if you're Pfizer, like this is the gift that keeps on giving. Like this is like the best Christmas gift you could ever have. Like I'm investing in Pfizer now. Like it's just unbelievable. But what they're saying now is that they've done studies. Viagra is a massive or strong anti-cancer. And it's now you have David Sinclair come and say, yeah, I take Viagra too because for the anti-cancer benefits. So it makes sense, but where are you at with that, Len? What do you think about that news? The gift that keeps on giving for Pfizer is now everyone's going to start taking Viagra and Cialis for longevity.
Yeah, so I think it's it's Sildenafil or something like that. That's the drug that is generic for Viagra. And so I was also hearing about something with regard to ivermectin being an anti-cancer causing agent as well. So The reason why I bring that up is because it's a extra benefit when you have legacy drugs that can also serve as an additional benefit, because you don't have the billions and billions of dollars of clinical trials and testing, because you don't have to worry about humans and not knowing what the side effects are, because we already know about that. And talk about a wonder drug, because remember, it was originally Sildenafil was originally for like angina and heart related issues.
Chest pains.
And then the golden gift, which was for, ED, erectile dysfunction. And then that drug took off like a rocket. And then to find out that there may be some signs where it can actually help for cancer, bro. Like if that actually turns out to be clinically accurate, where it's reliable and valid, I think we'd have to argue that that's the best drug ever created in the history of mankind. Maybe second to penicillin. But I would have to, I even think you could argue that it's more, especially when we're talking about cancer.
I think that it would go right up there with metformin. I mean, because now you look at metformin, a lot of people that biohack and longevity hack take metformin. And if they don't take more metformin, they take berberine, because metformin is essentially does exactly what the GLP-1s does, but without the side effects of a Wegovy or a GLP-1 or an Ozempic.
Okay.
So I think when you're looking at this kind of stuff, especially too with Ivermectin, and you see what people are starting to see now, and I think Ivermectin was strong for like lung cancers and stuff like that. I think I was what I was reading. It's kind of shocking, because it makes you wonder, like, wait a minute, why was this not mainstream before? Why was this? Was it hidden? Was it suppressed? Because it does make sense, because when you look at a lot of cancers, it's blood supplies, and it's how they use cholesterol. So I think in the case with Ivermectin and Viagra, it disrupted the way that cancers were able to use cholesterol. And if it can't get to the cholesterol, then it can't get the energy, and then the blood flow gets blocked. So to me, it all makes sense. And I think that we're on the precipice of seeing a lot of stuff that ordinarily would be locked out for the sake of money is now like, wow, okay, here we go. This stuff has other uses for it.
Yeah. So just as a point of clarification, one thing about ivermectin, it's a very controversial drug because it actually gained a lot of popularity during COVID. And so primarily the uses and functions are for human parasites, for topical treatments, veterinary use, and it binds to specific nerve and muscle channels in parasites. And so I think the sildenafil has a lot more, what do you say, efficacy than ivermectin as it relates specifically to this finding of the drug connected to cancer. So I'm really, really excited to see what the outcome of that whole clinical trial is going to be, because so many people can be, could receive some benefits from it, man. And that'd be big. ED, heart, and cancer. That's crazy.
But have you heard though, Len, there's a big community, especially like Chinese medicine too, where a lot of people are in the camp that they say a lot of disease is parasitic born. Even a lot of cancers they say is parasitic born or driven by parasitic. So and what do you know? Berberine is a natural anti-parasitic along with garlic. So it just seems like to me that maybe these types of things were made in a different era where drugs were done differently. But it just is shocking to me that you haven't had a breakthrough in any of these core things like cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, dementia. It just doesn't make sense to me, diabetes, why you haven't seen massive breakthroughs in these when you've had so much time with these. And then you look at these old school drugs that were developed probably during a more, maybe I'm talking to my, but maybe developed with scientists or chemists that had maybe a more pragmatic outlook and a more moral outlook where they were actually there to solve problems rather than create products that just create a loop. Like kind of like Burry said, right? With NVIDIA and all these guys that are just in a positive, they're just in this carousel route where they're all, hey, if you buy from me, I'll buy from you. And then so on and so forth. But I mean, that's really what the food guys are doing and everything, right? Right.
We are way over our skis in this topic, but I think because we're not journalists, we can definitely, speculate. And to me, when you look at the Heart and Lung Association, when you look at all the different types of foundations that are connected to like leukemia and cancer and things like that, I think we would be naive to believe that every actor in each of those spaces are altruistic and want to eradicate, because if that were to happen, they would cease to exist as organizations. And so while I don't believe that everybody there are bad actors, I think that we'd be crazy to believe that everybody there really wanted to see those issues eradicated. I'll just leave it at that.
It's always a pleasure, sir. You have a phenomenal week.
Likewise.
For those who out there like this content, like and subscribe, follow us. We'd love to hear from you. Comment, and we'll see you on the next one. Len, have a killer week.
Thank you,
and
brother.
Everyone else out there, stay classy, stay safe, and just don't believe the hype, and stay close to your family because everything's going to be all right. God bless you guys. Thanks, Len.
All right. Take care, Chris.
Bye.
Conversation has given you clarity on your next steps. Please share this episode with someone who's walking the same path. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss future episodes. And remember, planning ahead isn't just prudent, it's an act of care. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Family Office.